Spock. Ottawa just announced it is combating anti-Semitism. 4 directions. Why is that the case and not the cure?
Begin where honesty requires, Captain. The crisis is real. Police reported anti-Semitic hate crime in Canada rose from 331 incidents in 2018 to 920 in 2024. More than 2/3 of all religion-motivated hate crime against a community that is about 1% of the population. A response is owed.
So you grant the crisis.
Fully. What I read is the grammar of the response. All 4 announced directions are verbs of preparation. Reassess, develop, improve, measure. Study it, draft an approach, collect the data, check a metric. Not one of them names a thing that will be done.
Make the strongest case for the announcement first.
In full. The Prime Minister called the surge a level not seen since the post-war period. Specific, severe, demanding a targeted response. And the hatred is real and rising. That is corroborated well beyond any single tally. A government that did nothing would be failing a duty, and the security funding and enforcement are legitimate. None of what follows argues against responding.
But you want to be careful about the number.
Be exact about it, Captain, because the 4 cases before this one were about precisely this. The rise from 331 incidents in 2018 to 920 in 2024 is a count of police-reported hate crime, an instrument output, not an audited census of harm. Such a count is a flaw at any one moment, since most incidents go unreported. Yet its climb over time is shaped by how reporting and recording change, not by the number of events alone. It folds 2 real things together: more hatred and more of it reaching a report, and cannot on its own separate them. That does not shrink the crisis. It places the number where Case 24 insists it belongs. A measure with a method, not a verdict that settles itself.
Then where is the case?
In one gap. Between an announcement that says it is combating anti-Semitism and 4 directions that each describe getting ready to.
Walk me through the 4.
Reassess the nature and scale. To study. Develop a whole-of-government approach. To draft. Improve data collection. To see better. Measure the impact. To grade the effort. Every verb is preparatory. None says what will be done, to whom, by when, to reduce which harm.
Surely someone friendly to the cause said the same.
B'nai B'rith Canada, an organization that exists to fight anti-Semitism, called the speech a missed opportunity. They sought, in their words, true tactical changes, and said that is not what they received today. When the community a plan names reads it as apparatus rather than action, that is not my verdict. It is theirs.
You said one direction has teeth.
The third, in its exact words, build stronger data-sharing systems so all orders of government, schools, and police services are working from the same facts. Strip the brand. That is a hate incident dataset, pooled across governments, school boards, and police, with the walls between them lowered.
2 of our own cases, at once.
The ratchet, more collected, more widely shared, fewer firewalls, and the authority of the number. The same facts means one official aggregate to which all defer. A real surveillance capacity attached to the most sympathetic purpose available. And once built, it is defined entirely by what it decides counts as a hate incident.
And what counts as a hate incident?
The announcement does not say. That blank is the case. Whatever definition fills the dataset becomes the operative standard for anti-Semitism across every body made to work from the same facts. This is the definitional dodge of Case 21, now wired to a database.
And if that definition is the IHRA one?
Then, named civil liberties bodies and academics argue protected political criticism could be logged as anti-Semitism. Named Jewish organizations and the government argue such recording is exactly what a surge demands. The academic Nathan Kalman Lamb called it a step toward full McCarthy against anyone critical of Israel. I report that dispute. I do not resolve it. Note only this. The Prime Minister preempted the objection himself, insisting the measures are not curtailments of freedom of expression. The speech question named and closed in the same breath before any measure exists to examine.
The fourth direction, measure the impact. That sounds like accountability.
Read against the census case, Captain. It is the older move. Measurement offered as proof of action. We measured it, slides quietly toward. It worked. But a metric of effort is not a reduction in harm, and better data collection can drive the recorded number up, while the streets are no safer.
And that is not just a future risk.
It is already the mechanism behind the figure that opened this case. The 920 was itself produced by reporting, and the third direction proposes to expand exactly that reporting. Watch the loop it closes. Improve the collection, the count rises. Cite the rising count as proof the work is needed. Expand the collection again. The same instrument supplies the alarm and the evidence that the alarm is being answered.
So the test is not whether they measured it,
Nor even the raw direction of a count. The collection effort can push either way. The test is whether the lived reality the number stands for actually improves, and whether anyone will be held to that, on the record, with a date.
reduce it to the move.
The integration stamp, the running of a procedure, offered as the verdict on the procedure's own subject. A council, a body, an approach, a document, a data system, a process, a metric, a number. 4 artifacts, each presented as the action against the harm. We are combating anti-Semitism, evidenced by the apparatus, not by a fall in the count it names.
And the crisis is the cover.
Who would stand against a council convened against anti-Semitism in a synagogue while the numbers climb? One detail sharpens it. The government had a dedicated special envoy on anti-Semitism. That role was folded into this broad, multi-issue council, and a Senate committee has since asked for the dedicated envoy to be restored. A specific office became one item on a general agenda, even as the rhetoric promised something specific and targeted. The apparatus grew, the focus thinned.
State the limits plainly.
It does not claim the crisis is exaggerated. It is real and severe, even as the headline figure is a reported count, not a clean measure of harm. It does not claim the council is a pretext or that combating anti-Semitism is anything but legitimate. It does not claim any specific speech is or is not protected, and it does not resolve the definitional dispute. It does not claim the data system will be misused, only that the capacity is being built, and the definition that governs it is unstated.
And what does it claim?
That the 4 directions are all process, and not one is yet an outcome. That working from the same facts is a real data-sharing expansion under an unopposable brand. That the unstated definition does the most work of all, and that the very figure used to justify the apparatus is itself an output of the reporting the apparatus would expand, the alarm and the evidence from one instrument. The announcement asks to be credited for the apparatus, not for a result. The laundering is the sentence, "We are combating anti-Semitism," standing on 4 steps that each only get ready to.
Where does this leave the volume?
It is the capstone, and it joins 2 threads. It closes Case 21, which Standard decides what anti-Semitism means by showing that Standard about to be wired into a national database. And it lands the measurement quartet, the census sold as help, the data sold as protected, the figure sold as true, on one announcement that proposes to build more of exactly that apparatus.
The combat hate machine and the legibility machine.
Turn out to be the same machine. The counter is denominalization. Turn the 4 nouns back into verbs with subjects and objects. Who reassesses what? Who shares which data with whom? Who decides what counts? And who, in the end, gets measured?